everybody, I am back on YouTube. It's been a little minute, but let's talk about it. That is the whole purpose of the video, why I left social media and why and how I'm back on social media now. So let's get into it. So hi, my name is Brittany Butler. If this is your first time watching me, if it's not, welcome. I'll be doing social commentary from the perspective of a Black millennial mom, and not as if there's some shortage of that on the internet, but I do have some unique perspectives and opinions that I don't hear many people sharing, and I want to be able to share those, and I think YouTube is a great platform to do that. So if this is something that you think you're interested in, definitely stay tuned. And if there's something you think you want me to talk about, make sure you put that below. It feels good to be back because I am just in a great space, but we'll talk about that. So I took some notes on my phone, so if I look down, that's what I'm looking at, because I just want to make sure that I'm as concise as possible and I do not go off on a tangent, because that is very easy for me. So let's get into it. I'm just way more relaxed. If you watch any of my other videos, I was always so nervous, and I realized it's because I wasn't talking about what I really wanted to talk about. So let's get into the reasons why I got off of social media. So I've been on and off creating content for, I would say, about 7 years on the internet. So obviously there's been several changes. I actually grew up without the internet, so that informs how I use the internet. I was one of those people who first used Facebook because I was in college when Facebook came out. I want to say it came out in 2004 when I was a freshman in college, which is kind of crazy to think about. So I've been on and off creating content. I went through the span of making jewelry online. I had a blog online, but I've always just been in the vein of being that person to talk and tap into those people who I feel like are unseen. Even if I didn't know it at that moment, that's kind of what it's formed into. I think that background is important to address. So I started creating content again maybe in 2021 or 22, I can't remember exactly, probably 21. And then I stopped March of this year, 2023. I stopped creating content like cold turkey. I felt like I heard from the Holy Spirit telling me to get off of the hamster wheel of creating content. So if you follow me on Instagram, I did post a video kind of talking about why I stopped creating content and the reasons behind it. So definitely check that out if you want to know more about how I was feeling in that particular moment. I feel like it was mixed with so many things. It was mixed with me honestly just being exhausted myself, me feeling like I was neglecting my family, but not only because of social media. I think social media was just the way to kind of cope with things that were going on with me. And I will talk about that a little bit later in the video. And then I also just started feeling unsure about social media. I was in the state where I was creating content, but I was also getting very, I don't know if the word is anger, but doing a lot of critiquing of social media. And I just did not like how it felt. I was like, you know what? I don't know why the Holy Spirit is telling me this, but let me just get off this app. When I say app, I mean the Instagram app. Get off Instagram, because that's the one that I feel like has me in a chokehold. So I got off Instagram, and then I just deleted the social media accounts off my phone. And so it was so crazy because as soon as I deleted them, I realized how addicted I was to going on my phone when I was bored to the social media apps. When it wasn't in that place anymore on my phone, I was literally like clicking it, like trying to get to the app, like, whoa, that's when it really stood out to me. So I still was using YouTube to like watch videos, even though I was like on a social media fast. And what helped me with YouTube is that I could be more directed in what I was actually searching. And it made me realize how when we're on TikTok and Instagram and even Facebook, things are coming at you and you literally are like unguarded. And so in the Bible it says, guard your heart above all things, right? So when you get on these social media apps, things are just coming at you. Whether you're able to take them in or not, you don't even really get to decide. And of course, YouTube is like that a little bit, but for the most part, when you go on YouTube, you're going to be looking for a particular thing, and you're going to follow creators who talk about things that you're interested in. And so I say all that to say that I realized with social media, I had almost given away the power to choose what I was taking in. So if someone is having a bad day, They're going to dump all that on social media, and then now that's dumped in your lap. If there's a war in this country, now this is dumped on your lap. And not to say that you don't need to be informed, but you don't need to know everybody's situation to that degree, that much detail, right? And then also, it's just, even though people talk about like the spirit in which music and things like that are made, and sometimes I'm just like, but it was really powerful that I watched the clip from Carisha Please when she interviewed Summer Walker. And Summer Walker, which I need to see if I can insert that clip. I don't know if I will get in trouble for inserting that clip. But essentially in the clip, she said something like she doesn't listen to her own music. And she kind of uses her music as a diary for the things that she's going through. And so if you just think about how that sounds, that an artist doesn't want to listen to her own music because she doesn't want to go back to that place she was at when she created it. But then she's putting it out in the world for us to listen to it, pouring and dumping all her emotions. And I thought, wow, that's even beyond people saying like, oh, people are doing Satan worship over the music and then releasing it. No, this girl doesn't even know that whatever powers and influences and negative things are in her head, she's not even consciously thinking about what she's saying by saying she's going to put this on her music and then have it released for us. And so that's how I feel about social media. And not all social media is bad, but just think about sometimes people aren't in the right headspace, they aren't in the right place in their life, and whatever they're going through, they're kind of just dumping it out for us to take in. And then it's like, what do we do with that information? So the point that I wanted to make about YouTube is that YouTube actually helped me, because somehow I got in the hamster wheel of searching other people who had quit social media, and I started to learn about the blue light distractions and not being able to sleep and all these things about social media and just the constant use of your phone that I never really thought about how much it has control over us, and no one is above it. I don't care what they say, even if there's someone who plays games on their phone all the time, either just constantly texting people all the time, just somehow in communication using your device where you're not present in the things that are actually around you. So I was just so thankful for the time away. So I stayed off of it for 3 months, meaning I did not. Now I will say I would sometimes go on my actual computer and just pop in, but I quickly get off because it was a reminder that nothing about it is really different. Like, I'm not missing anything. Like, yes, that might be a new post, but it's like another hair video, another makeup video. Like, it's not as if I haven't seen this particular thing. And because I was integrating myself with this other outside information about how distracting it is, and basically they're just built for us to purchase, like to have our guards down, be on the app as much as we can, and then at some point make purchases. That is the whole point of it. And then even if we aren't making purchases, being on it for that long, advertisers are able to advertise to us, and then the social media apps actually get money. So just being conscious and aware of that has given me so much power to use social media in a very different light. So let's get back to how I'm back on social media, and I have now even recently started posting back on social media, which if anyone has talked to me in my real life, I'm sure they're like, girl, what? You said you weren't doing this anymore. And I wasn't, and I didn't need to in the way that I was. So let's go down this list of how I'm able to be back posting on social media. Number one is Jesus, but I'm going to talk about Jesus a little bit after so that I can really get into it. But number one is Jesus. God and Jesus is how I'm able to get back on this platform and record it and say it loudly and boldly for the camera. And so then the next, I think big reason is that I've had to remove myself from the end result, which as an artist is hard. As a creative, I don't know if I've ever called myself an artist out loud, but as an artist, that is extremely hard to do, to remove yourself from the end result. So when you think about social media, it's a beautiful thing, and then it can be a not so beautiful thing, how you can get feedback so fast. So you can get addicted, and I'll say I got addicted to being able to quickly create something at home, put it back, and get feedback, whether it was through a like, whether it was through a comment, whatever it was. And that's not something that I experienced prior to social media if I created art. So when I created jewelry, it was something that I had to spend hours to do. I might have to go to like trade shows, do all these things, right? So it's not that instant feedback. But with social media, you literally can create a 5-minute video, take 5 minutes, put it up, and then get some type of feedback. So then you're just sitting there waiting for the feedback. So I had to remove myself from the end result, meaning I don't care about the feedback. I don't care about the feedback, and not to say I don't care about people's opinion, but the most important thing about me creating content and creating art should be what I created and what I put into it while I was doing it, the process of doing it, if that makes sense. I need to enjoy that more than I need to enjoy what may or may not come from it. So yeah, that's number one tip. And then the number two thing is that I'm no longer going to be trying to be an influencer and get brand deals. I'm not going to sit up here on this camera and say if, a dream great brand came to me, I would turn them down. But I'm no longer trying to review products and get my name out there. I'm not doing any of that. This is now something that I do for fun, something that I do as a hobby, and something that I want my kids to be able to look back on and see pieces of their mother and get a glimpse of me that maybe they don't get every single day, but to know this part of me. And then if I'm creating content in that vein for them, think about the other little Black girls that it can help or inspire. So that is the reason that I'm creating this content. So anything that happens after I put it out, I have no control over that, and that is about my relationship with God and understanding that I have no control over it, any of these things. But what I do have control over is the gift that He put inside of me and how I decide to put that out there. So let's get an amen for that one. Woo. And I feel like there's a lot of people in the same vein who have been creating content for a while. They're just ready to strip down and not make everything so perfect. And that doesn't mean that you don't take your time and put out excellent or quality work, but understanding that your heart for what you're creating is more important sometimes than actually what it looks like, the color, the lighting, the sound, all these things. Which reminds me, I forgot to plug in my microphone, so hopefully the sound is good on this. Brittany. And so I was watching one of my favorite creators on here. Her name is Isi, and I will link the video that I got this quote from. But in the video, she talked about very similar things to what I'm talking about, which kind of tripped me out because I watched her video today knowing that I was going to record this. So in the video, she said that anxiety and gratitude cannot coexist in your brain at the same time. And I think that that is what is so powerful about the place that I'm in right now. I'm just grateful that I have all these equipment, that I'm able to get on here and use my voice, that I have a sound mind, that I have healthy children, I have a beautiful marriage and a beautiful home. Whether it's perfectly curated and all those things, no, it's not. Is my life perfect? Not by any means, not by the stretch of the imagination. Will it ever be perfect? Nope, it won't be. But it's beautiful that God has chosen me to live this life and be this person and have all these beautiful things added to me that He has given me. And so knowing that removes that anxiety about creating content and the judgment that you can get online. So another thing that has helped me has been getting back to reading, getting back to the things that I love that have nothing to do with social media. So I listened to an audiobook over the summer called Rest is Resistance, As Resistance by Tricia Hershey, and I will link that down below as well. Y'all, that book has changed my life forever and forever, like forever and forever. But it was my first point of healing in a way that I've never healed before. I'm not gonna go into a deep dive. About the book. Maybe I can make a separate video just about the book and go back and listen to the points And that's probably a good idea, but I just want, if you're at a place where you feel so exhausted and you're not sure why and you're not sure how to get out of where you are, I feel like that book is a great place to start, because there's an exhaustion that goes beyond just needing to get sleep. And then when you can't actually get physical sleep, then there's even deeper problems that I feel like you should actually address. And currently, right now, I'm reading a book by Brene Brown called Daring Greatly. Y'all, without that book, I don't know if I would be back on YouTube, because the main topic of the book is about vulnerability, and it kind of goes with that point where I said removing yourself from the end result, and just putting yourself out there, because people are going to connect with you when you're being human, and human is full of perfection and imperfection and a mix of the two, right? So the more that you can get to that place and tap into that place and remove yourself from feeling like you have to be perfect, chef's kiss. So I highly recommend both of those books if those are something that you're interested in, and I'll make sure to link both of those down below. And then I have written down that I am my own best friend, y'all. I'm my own best friend. I was listening to something yesterday, and it was talking about your longest relationship in your life is the one that you have with yourself. I mean, what? Hello? And it's the most important, not from a self-centered way, but like literally I'm the center of my life. Everything that I think and put into my brain and how I feel about myself is going to affect my environment, whether positive or negative. And just knowing the power of that has just been life-changing. Last but certainly not least is my relationship with God. It's just in the most beautiful place. It has given me strength. I have experienced a spiritual awakening, and when they talk about joy in the Bible being like a happiness that has nothing to do with outside circumstances, that is literally where I'm at. So there's nothing that can steal my joy. Social media is not going to steal my joy. Some people writing nasty comments on there, they're not going to steal my joy, because within life there's always going to be the negative and the positive. So you get to decide what you're going to lean into. And the more that you are grateful for your life, the more that you can see how God has always had his hand over your life, always protecting you, always guiding you. No matter what you were doing in that equation, the more grateful you can be for your life and be able to flow from that vein. So I say all that to say, because of my relationship with God, I can create content on here and not think that I'm just some mastermind and, ooh, this video is the one that's gonna go viral, this thumbnail is the one that's gonna get them. No, all of this is in control of God. I'm just being obedient to the things that have been poured into me and what I want to share, and then removing myself from it. And of course, I'm still human. I'm not sitting up here as if I'm not gonna still think about the analytics, but never in the way that I was before, like just totally checking it and into it. I could post a video and then not even look back at the comments for several days. It's also something that I do with my phone. I have the settings of like sleep on my phone, mindfulness when people are like texting me and I feel like I need to just like shut down so that I can hear my own thoughts and not get drawn into people pleasing. Then that's what I take advantage of. So that's how I'm now able to get on social media. I've been doing like this challenge where I go to bed at a certain time, put my phone down, put it in another room so that I can detach from social media, because on my own, I am no stronger than anyone else. They're creating algorithms to actually keep us on the app. So obviously they're going to be successful in some kind of way. So I don't want this video to be too long, but just wanted to let you guys know some of the things that we'll be talking about. If you watch my YouTube shorts, I do a lot of fashion hacks and thrifting, because I'm all about not feeling like you have to spend a bunch of money. You have to do all these things to be content and to be happy, because baby, those things aren't going to make you happy, and that I know for sure. If you think that's something you would be interested in, definitely make sure you stay tuned. If you have something that you want me to touch on, definitely leave it in the comments, and I appreciate you guys, and I hope that you have a blessed rest of your day.